How's it going, everyone? Matt Leighton, Shawn Battle. Welcome back to another episode of the the Shawn and Matt Show. Look at that. I put my first name first. How selfish of me. The Matt and the Shawn and Matt Show. What's wrong with me?
Well,
We're
I'll say it, the Matt
virtual.
and Shawn Show. So if I'm saying it, I'll say the Matt and Shawn Show. You say it, it's the
Shawn and Matt Show.
There
Shawn
you
and Matt Show sounds so much better. I'm not just saying that because your name comes first, but I'm off my game here. I'm not wearing a suit. We are doing the virtual Shawn and Matt Show, and this is going to be about COVID-19 in the Northern Virginia market. So what's going on? What's happening? We did a video on this. What was it? Was that a month ago? When did we do that video?
And boy, were we
So much
wrong.
has changed. Well, so much has changed. Like everything we said in that video, everything I said was probably wrong in that video. But that's the thing. Like when I'm right, when you're right, I'm gonna keep it up there, and brag about it. But like when I'm wrong, I'm not gonna take it down. I'm not gonna delete it. I'm gonna let you know these are my predictions. This is what I think is gonna happen, and then I'm gonna show up with egg on my face on April 2nd and tell you how wrong I was.
Yeah, and guess what? We were wrong.
Yeah.
I don't think anybody expected the level of where we are now with this coronavirus. I sure as heck did not think we were going to be where we are. And I don't think anybody really did, or else they would have sold all their stocks and whatever. Like
except for those two Congress people
except,
that did sell their
for those congressmen that should be fired, should be gone. I don't care, man. They should be out, right?
Yeah.
So
Okay,
anyway.
so let's get into the Arlington real estate market and what we're seeing. And what I'll do on the YouTube video, just put in the graph that has the recent showings. This is via showing time. And what it shows is the weekly amount of showings on a percentage basis. Kind of strange how they do that for the entire Commonwealth of Virginia. So it's not just Arlington, but it does show a good story about what's going on recently. And what's going on recently is not a lot. There's literally not a lot going on recently, because ever since about March 12th or 13th, this was around the time when Tom Hanks announced he had coronavirus, when the NBA suspended their season. That was kind of the turning point, not only in the world, but also in showings in Northern Virginia real estate. And we were on trajectory for about like a 50 to 60% increase in showings since January 1st. I'll put the graph up there. It'll make sense. And since then, it's dropped down to negative 19%. So, Shawn, that's essentially a 75 to 80% drop in showings. What do you make of that?
It's tough, man. It is for real. As you know, I put my house on that worst week, that 19th, because I had to test it. We were aiming for this week for a long time, and the showings that weekend were slower for me. And we're seeing that around the board now. As each week progresses, I think we're learning more, and people are staying home more, and they're not seeing as many properties. So I think we're in for a long haul here. There are a lot of people that are expecting, or, who knows? We're all in the same boat. We don't know what's going to happen day to day and how bad this is going to get, but it seems like things just keep progressing in the bad sense of things. I think the good thing is, and maybe some states should take this into account, is like the state of Virginia has slowed down what you're allowed to do, what you should be doing. You should stay at home, right? And I think more and more states should adopt this. And maybe the federal government should just say, you know what, let's just do this I'm no expert, right? But like, let's just get this done, right? We need to stop this thing. And the only way we're going to stop it is by not going out and not seeing people. So at this time, I don't know. I mean, as far as the real estate is following that trend, right? So not as many people are going to see properties. Properties aren't selling as quickly or as high dollar or as many contracts. We are still seeing those pockets where places are selling in multiple contracts. Last week, a property went up right by me, and it was a lower price point, but they had 3 offers, 3 offers over list. So they're still selling. I think it's pockets. I think it's particular buyers that have been waiting and now see the opportunity, What are your thoughts?
Yeah, if you're gonna have a house in your neighborhood at 699, people are gonna jump all over that, whether Godzilla's outside the front door or if we have this global pandemic. And
Yeah.
I'm a little bit conflicted because ultimately, I care most about the safety and well-being of human beings, because I'm a person and that's my first priority, as it should be for everyone. I don't.
Yeah.
This isn't my spring break. I'm not going down to South Beach or doing anything like that. But at the same time, I don't want the economy to stop. I don't want us to press pause on everything, and not do anything and not buy anything. And I'm a little concerned about what's going to happen 6 months, 12 months down the line, because I can't even fathom how many industries and how many people are affected by this. Like we're blessed that we live in nice properties, and we have a stable job for the most part. We'll see how stable it is in a couple months, but there's so many service industry workers, hospitality workers, healthcare workers that have either been working around the clock or haven't even been working at all, have been laid off, don't have a job. And when unemployment, I think the number was like 6 million. Now I'm the furthest thing from an economist, but I'm just so concerned about what's going to happen in terms of the United States economy, not next month, but maybe like Q1 of next year or Q4 of this year.
And that's what everybody's fear is right now. And everybody is basing this on the what ifs. No one knows what's going to happen. And if it turns where people are laid off for a long period of time, they're not working for a long period of time, businesses aren't making money, naturally that's going to have a horrible effect on our entire economy. It's going to bring salaries down. It's going to bring buying power down, which in turn is going to bring prices down. So locally, I think we're a little bit different. We're under a different kind of envelope because we do have the federal government here that pushes the Northern Virginia area. And then we have the Amazon effect that has been helping us sell properties for the last year and a half. But this is a pandemic and we've never been through this. And I think everybody is learning as we go. Yes, number one priority is stay safe. We have changed the way we show properties. We are no longer allowed to do open houses. And when we do show properties, we are using hand sanitizer and gloves and booties and cleaning after every showing and things like that. So it's important to change with how things are going. So
yeah, and I think the biggest complaint or the biggest downside of the Northern Virginia market, it's twofold. It's one, prices are too high, and two, there's too much competition. Well, guess what? If you're a buyer, 80% of your competition has just taken a seat on the bench. And so right now there's in certain pockets, there may still be multiple offers, but now more than ever is a prime opportunity to purchase. If you're able to, if you have the stability, if you have the funds, you're not going to have the same level of competition as you did a month ago. And you may even get money off the list price, which is simply unheard of. Or as you mentioned before we hopped on here, you may even have a home of sale contingency being allowed by the sellers. So this is a unique market, and the pendulum is swinging back towards the buyer, which is what everyone had wanted, especially those on the buy side.
Yeah, and it's just the fact is that we just don't know how far the pendulum's going to swing. And that's the fear. Yes, there's a great buying power right now, and I think most people realize that. But the fear is, how far is this going to swing? How much of an effect is this going to have? We don't know. No one has the answers. I've been talking to every real estate agent in the area, trying to get their take on it. We're all kind of like, I don't know. I don't know what to do. We're going to list. We're going to keep listing properties. We're going to take the precautions so that people stay safe in our listings. But people still have to move, and leases are up, and orders are sent and things like that. So people still have to move, and we have to be that person that says, hey, lean on us, we will get you to the next stop. So we have to have that confidence and push forward, even though the market could be stalling right now. Right.
Yeah. And I think the expectation we need to set for our sellers moving forward is, the house, the condo, it may not sell in the first weekend on the market.
Yeah.
If we tell all of our sellers that they need to wait, if we're a week before Thanksgiving and a seller says, hey, we list now? It's like, probably not. Maybe wait until the new year. Maybe wait until after the holidays. That's an easy answer. You want to list in late August? No, probably not. Maybe September. But if you're trying to sell your house now, I personally don't have a crystal ball. My crystal ball doesn't work because all my predictions are wrong. So I can't with confidence tell someone, yeah, you'd be better off selling in 6 months, because maybe in 6 months we're all like, oh man, if only I had, taken the risk and sold right now. So what I am telling those sellers is, listen, we need to strongly think about what price we're going to go on. And, you may not get as many offers as you thought. And, you may just not get as many buyers. But I firmly believe that if you price it correctly, if it shows well, and if it is allowable to see, like if you're allowing showings, then in this market, I think those properties, they're still going to sell. And we've seen that time and time again. In the past week, I had clients write on a property they didn't get with multiple offers. 2 weeks ago, I had 2 properties that went under contract with multiple offers. So I think the days on market may tick up and it may lean towards the buyer favor. But what I can't recommend to all my sellers is just put the pause button on, just because I don't know what's around the corner.
Yeah, listen, we go through markets, and I've been doing this long enough where I've been through the down markets, the up markets. Things change very quickly, and you have to roll with that. And we're kind of spoiled in the fact on a sell side that places sell in a weekend or a week or 2 weeks. But now it might take 3 months, it might take 6 months, and that's kind of a normal market that we're not used to. But I've been through it, and it's not fun. But where it is fun is on the buy side. So, the pendulum swings all the time. And so in real estate, you got to take the opportunity when it's handed to you. And right now it's the buy side that's given that opportunity. Interest rates are still, they've kind of settled down. They're in the 3s. This is a really good time. So there is complete uncertainty in the market. And so my handy assistant just handed me something right here. And this is what kind of thing that this is uncertainty at its highest, right? So since February 12th list date, all right, so people that listed on February 12th to the present, to right now, in Arlington and Falls Church, a total of 91 listings are temporarily off or withdrawn. So that's all kind of structures, condo, whatever it is, 91.
It's a lot.
That shows you how much uncertainty there is. It's like, oh my gosh, should I sell? Should I not? Should I wait a week? Should I wait 2 weeks? I was one of them. I pulled mine temporarily off for a week because I wasn't happy with the amount of showings. But then I'm like, you know what? I need to sell. I don't want to wait 6 months to sell my property. I want to sell it now and I want to move, right? I don't need to. I want to. So I'm going to just push it out there and let's see what happens. All right?
Yeah. Man, I'm just trying to think of all the sellers out there that had their plans of selling in the spring market all laid out. And, everyone's got a grand plan until they get punched in the face. And right now we're getting punched in the face. Yep. But what I really wanted to ask you is, in the past couple of years, have you had any buyers that have held off on buying because they said a recession is coming and they don't want to buy until the recession comes?
I did. I've had plenty of people say that they feel like a recession's coming and I'm not going to buy until that hits. Well, supposedly it's hitting right now. It could last.
Well, this is their chance.
It's your chance.
I'm reaching out to those buyers that I have who have been like, hey, I'm going to hold off. And I hear there's a recession. Well, it may come. And I don't want to hear a response, oh, it's too volatile right now, because now it's going to be a really interesting opportunity for buyers out there, especially in the Northern Virginia market. In markets like New York City, man, I just can't imagine, because they're in a horrific market before all of this, whether you want to talk about the state and local income tax deductions or the international buyers not being able to purchase as much because of shell company laws. But now, we're blessed in this market that we can even still show properties.
Yeah. And, I've had multiple people reach out to me on YouTube asking me to do an update on, or asking us to do an update on the market and what should I do? Like, one buyer is an all cash buyer in Alexandria, and she's like, should I still buy? And I mean, I don't have a crystal ball, but I think that your opportunity is here. Another one was a DC buyer that's under contract, and he has the opportunity to still pull his contract. Should he pull his contract? Again, I don't know. I mean, your opportunity, your interest rates are still really good. So if you've got a great interest rate, even though if prices fall a little bit, they're going to come back, and you've got to think of long-term investments. Real estate is not a buy and flip unless you're getting a stellar deal. And so this is a long-term hold. And I think what's going to happen is interest rates are going to stay low because the economy is going to be affected by this. So that naturally they're not going to want to increase rates. But you saw what happened when they did reduce rates. Everybody started to jump in and try to refi, which actually had an inverse effect on rates. It actually raised the rates because of liquidity. So there's always going to be these bumps in the road as we go. And how long this is going to last, no one knows. But if you buy on the high side, just know that you're going to have to stay there for a while if you want to start making the money. But think long term.
I think if you're buying, like if that all cash person in DC is like, oh, should I still buy? It's like, well, what were the reasons that you're going to buy in the first place? We're going to buy something, right, fix it, flip it. We're going to buy in it, live in it for a couple of years, or, hold on to it. I was talking with an agent who was thinking about writing an offer on my condo in Alexandria. And, he's like, well, it's too high, this, that, and the other. And I was like, well, tell me a little bit about your client and what their plan is. And he's like, well, he's a move up buyer. He'll probably stay in the condo for about 3 years. I'm thinking about, and then I told him, I was like, listen, if your guy's only going to be in here for 3 years, now keep in mind, this condo is the best thing in the west end of Alexandria, priced way above the others, as it should be, because it's much better than all the others.
Gorgeous,
but it's not a condo that you buy, live in it for 3 years, and then make a whole bunch of money. Like, you're going to lose a ton of money if you try to sell that thing after 3 years. It's a condo that you buy to retire in, or that you buy, as a pied-à-terre, or that you buy and stay there for like 20 years, or maybe even rent out. So I think when it comes down to, should I still buy? Is 2020, is there too much risk? Well, what are your plans? What are your intentions?
That's a great point. I mean, really depends on what your outlook of life is, right? Are you going to be there for a while? Then stay put, because things are going to reverse and we're going to be great, but in the end. But if your thing is to buy and hold for 2 3 years and then buy something else, that's probably not the right investment right now.
I hear so many people reach out to me and be like, well, what if something crashes after I buy? I was like, well, are you going to move next year? Like, why does it matter? Like, if you're going to buy a house, aren't you going to be there for 5 years? Like, who cares? Like, honestly, like, who cares if it crashes? Like,
think about your stock.
How's that going to affect you? Like, all right, you're still going to have your job, assuming you still have your job, right? Assuming you still have your health, right? Assuming you didn't, your dog didn't die, right? Like, why do we care if something crashes, if you've purchased the house of your dreams that you tell us, and you're going to be in there for a good number of years?
It shouldn't really matter. And that's the same thing with my stock account, my stocks and all of my holdings for retirement. I didn't sell them, I didn't. And when it's falling, it's not the time to sell that. It's the time to buy. And I'm still buying,
Did you buy Delta?
I actually did buy Delta. Yeah.
You told me to buy Delta. So hopefully you bought it.
Well,
I may have to buy it just so you can be right.
Yeah. I mean, that, it just depends on how long flights aren't happening. Right. I mean, who knows what could happen if this is prolonged and like people don't fly anymore, then I don't know if it's a good investment, but.
Yeah, I read this feel-good story about this lady who she was like the only person on her flight from Boston to DC. And I was like, dang, like if that's a feel-good story, like the airplane industry.
Story, man.
Yeah,
I don't want to be in that world. No.
Yeah, but on the buy side, I think you got to weigh the risks, right? You're going to have an incredible opportunity. You got to weigh the risk. On the seller side, I mean, just to recap, I'm not a fan of pushing the pause button just because, I'll equate it to a VCR, right? And, I'm a younger guy, but I know what a VCR was, and I used to use it back in my heyday.
You know what beta is?
Oh, let's not go there. So with the VCR, you press pause, and you can like immediately start it, again because like the screen is frozen. But if you press that stop button, it becomes a little more difficult. Like the screen goes black. You have to like start it up again, and it's much more difficult of a process. So
Yeah.
for sellers out there, I'm thinking maybe press the pause button, see how the next week or so shakes out. But if you're pressing that stop button and you think things are going to get better in eight months or so, I just don't have the answer to that. I know the buyers are out there right now, and right now the buyers are still looking.
Yep. Yep. So you might lose a little bit on the sell side, but you're going to gain it on the buy side. That's the way you got to think. It's a tough answer. I don't have the magic ball. I don't know exactly what you should be doing, but the market is slower at this point in the local Virginia, DC markets. And you can expect it to go slower as this virus progresses, I would say. Hopefully we put a stop to it soon, and we'll see a bump. But I think once we do get a grip on this, the market's going to bump. It's going to bump quickly. So
I mean, how do you like once everything, I hate saying go back to normal, but once people are no longer concerned, what do you think is going to happen to the real estate market? How do you think that's going to compare to before this?
Well, when they're no longer concerned, is there ever going to be a no longer concerned? It's just, I think maybe.
Ooh, that's a good question.
Yeah, I think because if we think about it, and I'm not equating this to the flu, but do we have a cure for the flu? We have flu shots. Are we going to have a cure for the coronavirus? This might just be a new normal where we're living with this all year, and we just have to psychologically get through the fact that, hey, we have to change the way we're living. And so if that's the case, that might take a lot longer than hey, we've found a cure and we're moving forward.
Yeah, I mean, I'm saying, my words are like 6 months, 8 months, next year, but it could be more than that. It could be 18, it could be years, and who really knows? So all we can do is just do our best to stay safe and not take things for granted, and do everything we can to help our clients.
Exactly. Stay safe. Buy if you need to buy, sell if you need to sell. Don't let this stop you. Because we've all got to move. We've all got to go somewhere. We all have life plans. Don't put those plans on hold.
That sounds like a direct message to everyone in Waverly Hills.
Yeah, please put your houses on the market so I can buy it.
So Shawn can buy it with no competition. Love it, man. Well, I think
market, man. Hey, I'm not stupid.
Yeah. Well, I think that's a good place to end here. So thanks, guys, for watching. Would love to hear your comments. Be sure to drop them in the comments section below. This video, I think, varied drastically from our video a month ago about the coronavirus. But, every single day, every single week, we're learning more information. We're educating ourselves. We're getting our news source from multiple news sources and not just one. So we're well informed. And Fauci, listening to a lot of Fauci. So Thanks again, guys, for watching. For Shawn and myself, until next time, we'll see you then.
Stay safe, guys.